everybody know how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna do it. I think you wanna do it soon,
Yeah,
because I don't think they can probably afford to keep all of.
Well, they were-
things.
yeah, they were talking about the dollar,
Your money.
dollar went away to like maybe even 48 cents on the dollar. And if you get it now, you're locked in, it sounds like.
Right, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's next Friday for us today. And
No,
here,
he's gone, I've been selling.
I know Carrie out of town. So. Okay.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Page. Valley. Here. Painter.
Here.
Curly Bogus.
Present.
Wolfersberger.
Here,
Cummings. Rapp.
Okay, first thing, I have on my agenda and, no reference to it, we've been without a planning and zoning chairperson for it, so. Anyway, I'm to find out, I'm gonna need formalize or formally appoint her, so, Diana Holtz has agreed to be our chairperson for the planning and zoning commission. So I want to officially appoint her and basically we'll just need approval from you guys to make it official. So do we need a motion for that? So if someone wants to make a motion to approve Diana as our chairperson for planning and zoning. She's been on planning and zoning for quite some time. It's just that we haven't officially appointed anyone to be the chairperson, so. Let's make a motion.
I will make a motion to appoint Diana Wolfers chairperson, planning and zoning commission.
I'll second.
Page.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Valley.
Yes.
Painter.
Yes.
Davis. White. Wolfersberger. I have an updated motion. Sorry.
yes,
So,
Thank you. I'm sorry. 4
all right, I was, look out to our public. Do we have any public comment after tonight?
Yes. Am I ready to speak, Jeff?
If you're actually an item for.
Okay, yeah, never mind then.
Hang on, Bruce.
Okay,
Okay,
that's, I wasn't sure.
never mind. So, all right, seeing none, we'll move on to our agenda here. We will, go through our consent agenda. Tiffany, had some issues with the minutes, so she will have those for us next meeting. So basically, in our consent agenda, we just have the approval of the bills at $115,166.37. Is there, without any questions, is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Is that you, Tim?
Yes.
Valley.
Yes.
Painter.
Abstain.
Wolfersberger.
Yes,
Page.
Yes.
301.
All right, starting now to new business, we had it on our agenda to approve or reject the Elm Street outfall due to there being some additional information that and Sean, our engineer, needs to go over that, and there's some additional things, so do we need a formal motion to table that?
I'm just asking, you have to take action on that tonight. I would just ask, you wait until the first meeting in November.
That way we'll have the additional information available to you guys, and Sean or somebody will probably be here to explain that, I presume. Or at least they'll have the information to you to do that. So we will skip over that. And the second item is the renewal of our general liability insurance. This is as you can see in the notes, I can let Joe explain. We kind of reviewed everything last year, decided to stick with the IML's RMA for at least a couple of years. And potentially what next year you'll maybe do a little shopping again, or so basically this is a housekeeping item to renew our liability insurance through IML.
Did this come in where you thought it would?
Yeah.
When we discussed it last time?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm making a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Painter,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Valley,
Yes.
Coro,
Okay, next item is community school representation. And I'm guessing that's what you guys are doing. Yeah, sorry. So, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves to the board.
So my name is Justin Headley. I'm with Bow Renewables for about 5 years. And I'm a land agent. Mike Russo, I'm one of the associate developers with Bow, primarily focused in the Illinois market. Then I help a little bit in our Pennsylvania market as well. So
Jordan Schreiner, manager of project origination, been with the company for about 3 years now.
Thank you.
I printed out presentations, so I got a copy for each.
Thanks.
I usually like to start the presentations a little backwards, but if you would go to the last page first. Not the calculator. It'll be a summary of benefits, basically, for St. Joseph. So what we're offering is $2,000 an acre for your 35-acre parcel that is owned by the city of St. Joseph. Included with that is a $10,000 a year annual scholarship. And that is also, comes with a 2% escalator as well. So that will go up every year throughout the life of the lease. The scholarship and the operating rate for the lease. There's also, it's customer-based subscriber business is what we're looking to do here. It'd be like a community style solar program. And in that, local community, like local households and customers around here that are supplied by Ameren would have the opportunity to buy into our program at about 10-15% cheaper rate than they're currently paying through. Now the lines would still remain the same. We're still working, and the distribution still goes through Ameren, but that is something that you can look forward to, is the 10-15% lower electricity. Also included is a one-time $50,000 donation to the city for whatever you guys choose. That will come at the beginning of construction, like just prior to us breaking ground or anything. There's also educational. I know this isn't my school, but we can provide educational opportunities. A lot of cities and small towns like this have agriculture programs. I don't know if that's something that you guys do, but agrivoltaics is kind of growing. It's a possibility. We can't guarantee it, but agrivoltaics is basically it's a combination of solar and farming. So you can graze sheep underneath them. They create pollinators and stuff like that. But we like to combine, and you're still able to have both benefits of the land and the soil. Also, there is a little kiosk that we could put in the school too. For science purposes, the kids can actually see what is being produced from the solar array. And they can look at that anytime they're coming through, just pass by. It's like I said, little 18. And that is the benefits. If there is a lease calculator, which you see right there, that breaks it down. This is a 40-year lease. So it breaks it down what you would make in year one. And each year going on after, like I said, that is compounded and breaks it down fully for you. So you kind of get the gist of what you would know, guaranteed income and stable income throughout the life of the lease. Compared to farming, you never know, sometimes you have a bad year, you have a flood, bad crops, stuff like that. All right, now we kind of go to the beginning, and I can tell you a little bit about Bo. So Bo was formed, almost 6 years ago now. We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Oh, you have enough, thank you. That helps me out a lot. So Bo was formed by Andrew Weber, Tom Olin, and Dan Bull. Now, they got really creative with the name for Bo. They just used their last initials, B, Bull, Bo Roland, and that's how they came up with Bo. Mike Musso, he already introduced himself as our associate developer here in the Midwest. You can go to the next page. Why Bo? This is the big one, because there's probably lots of people that have approached. I don't know if you guys have been approached about putting solar on this land or in the area. But our commitment is very strong. We are a smaller company. Our last is 35 or 36 employees. I came on board as number 7 or 8, right around there. But as you can see, it's consistently grown each and every year that I've been part of the company. And we have local experience. We are based out of Chicago. That's our home office. We have offices in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Cape Coral, Florida, or Fort Myers, Florida, I'm sorry, Youngstown, Ohio, and I believe Cincinnati has one too. Yes, Cincinnati. So there's lots of local experience, and for construction, we typically like to hire local construction people, bring them on board. We are very flexible with the land. I know Joe had mentioned that there's ball fields near there and the possibility of expansion. So that is something we can work with you guys as well. If you wanted to carve out like a 5-acre part of the parcel and wanted to use that, and just let us know. We, well, like I said, very flexible. We work around and we work with you the entire time. We are dedicated to quality, partner focused. We are partnered with Navison, which is a company based out of Massachusetts. They are our finance partner. We do the construction and develop the entire project. Navison would be the long-term owner of it. I think that kind of is there. Can you go on to the next one? Or, sorry, just control it. So our experience in Illinois. So we've been working in here for 4 years. We have 20 projects, 24 projects, permitted, sorry, 20 projects under terminating, which we probably need help because those numbers. 24 projects on the project management is that. And construction management, we have 13, 12 megawatt University of Illinois project. We are currently working with the city of Galva and Dalzell on multiple projects. I know it's 4, right? Yeah, we have 3 projects in Galva currently, all on this small land. And then we have 1 on a closed landfill in Georgia, Alto, as well. And then we just signed a lease with the city of Greenville to develop another municipal parcel there as well. And Joe, I don't remember if I sent a referral over to you for Dave Dyer. And,
You did send me that
Okay.
contact. Yeah.
Yep, okay, good, you got that. We're also working with Harlem City Schools in Rockford. We partner with them, Vienna Schools, and my missing one. We're working with Bolton County as well right now on another closed landfill site. That's a municipal site. So I can obviously get you some other references too if you would prefer to have those also. Next one. So the Illinois Adjustable Block Program. This one I'm going to kind of turn to Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan's a little more specialized.
And they recently rebranded it to Illinois Shines. So if you look it up under Illinois Adjustable Block Program, you'll probably see some like Illinois Shines as well. They just recently did a rebrand. So essentially what it is it's the Illinois Power Agency created this program to incentivize developers like ourselves to work with local communities and build projects that not only benefit the developers, but also the communities that they're based in. So they essentially have a set of funds set aside for a certain amount of projects to be built. And each year we, if you have a project being developed that fits the requirements, you submit an application They score the applications and give out awards based on, how many points you get. So one of the things in this specific part of the program is, working with the city is very important to them. So, our application isn't going to get any points if we don't work closely with you. So we're very incentivized to hold community engagement nights, get feedback from the town people on both the development of the project as well as the operation of the project. I think you mentioned, trying to get local workers to help on construction, project operations, anything where there's potential collaboration would be great for us. So that's our incentive to work with you guys. And then, we develop the project, build it. And then as you went through, you get the lease payments and as well as some of the scholarship payments. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell. And yeah, we've got a few projects with the city of Galva. Dave Dyer was super helpful. We were able to collaborate with the city of Galva very well. Yeah, still are. It's gonna be a long process, but really great partnership there and hoping you all are interested as well.
So our approach to farmland, from what I was told by Joe, you currently rent it out to a tenant farmer,
Yeah.
is that correct? I don't know if there's drain tiles been put in recently, but we pay for any damage that was done, but typically there isn't much. We try to avoid it. We ask for any plans that they may have had to locate those tiles and stuff. Our goal is to, when this is done and over with, put the land back as close as possible to how we found. And then we also pay for, say, if they were in the middle of a planting season, we pay full crop reimbursement for anything like that as well. So we give you guys probably 6 months notice before construction.
We'll be working very closely.
Very closely with you,
with
let
that.
them know.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like I said, anything that's disturbed on the land, we try to put that back the way we want. Oh, so first off, I kind of skipped the big part. So what we're looking for you guys is to sign an option. During this option period, that would be $5,000 a year. That money is just yours to keep, whether we go through with the project or not. The current tenant farmer can keep farming. That's just basically for us to go through permitting and everything to make sure that we can do the project. If we found out in year 2 that we couldn't, if there wasn't any feasible way to, like I said, we walk away, but that money, so we gave you is yours to keep. We're not coming back to just take it back.
Just to give us time to do some studies on the site,
Yeah.
to make sure that, to get an idea of what's actually buildable on the actual property.
Yeah.
Based off of the
Like I
sites.
said, we're not going to disturb the land. They may send out a survey. We'll be getting like.
This is just an intro,
Yeah.
more than anything else. It was kind of boring through just basic solar components. If you're not familiar with it, I think, just like to include it as a, just an opportunity to come through it.
Yeah, I'll bore you guys with this.
Yeah, very different than like any rooftop systems. I think I heard you guys talking about that before, you don't have to remove it, it says fix a hole and remove, it's out there. We do a lot of work up front to make sure that, we're not gonna need to go back and do any kind of field work once it's constructed. And if there are any questions on the construction, the pod, like how the actual physical structure will work, that's something we can follow up on and get you guys there. Have answers on.
Yeah, usually the only one that people are interested in is the racking with the fixed tilt or the rotating. We would plan to use the rotator, the tracker, yes.
Yep.
So the tracker is kind of based on weather system. It follows the sun throughout the day. So you'll see the panels will tilt throughout the day and follow the path of the sun, optimizing the most energy from the sun. There we go. There's the village site that we were looking at. I believe it was 35 acres in total. And this is just a sample layout of what it would look like. We have needed acreage as 34.2. We would like to option the entire parcel, but like I said, we work with you guys if you like I said, if you wanted to expand the ball fields, just let us know. We would like the 35 acres. If 30 is feasible, that's great. Go small, 25,
Yeah, we can go
25,
20.
20. We can work with it, like I said, that was part of the flexible thing, and I brought these guys to help me do that, with those questions.
Yeah, typically we'll option the whole parcel, and as we do those studies, it'll kind of pare down where we want to actually do the lease area and where we can build. So anything that we don't use would go back to you, to the city, so they use for however we see.
And there it is, the option period. This is 3 years with 2 one-year extensions. The Illinois program's pretty well established, so we don't anticipate that it would take the full 5 years, but we do sign up for that 5-year option. Now, at any time, like I said, if 2 years go by and we get the okay, we're gonna go ahead and execute the lease and start construction. At that time is when you receive a $50,000 construction bonus. Donate or one-time donation to the city. During the construction period, which is typically 6 to 9 months, we would pay you $250 an acre for that land, not full 2,000. But like I said, that only lasts 6 to 9 months, so we kind of calculate that out. That's just so basically we're not leaving you a period where you're making nothing. Then, like I said, the lease period is 30 years with the 2 5-year extensions for a total of 40. Once the project starts generating power, that is when the operating rate kicks in, and that's when the $2,000 an acre starts to become paid out. And like I said, that is compounded every year with a 2% interest rate.
And how long was that going to be from the time construction starts? About approximately
6 to 9
9
months.
months.
Mhm. Yeah, for small projects like these, I wouldn't. I would take a full.
Yeah, we would most likely like 6 months, but we always like to estimate just a little more because you never know what delays
It
or.
depends on the weather a lot. If it's like a really wet summer, it might slow things down, or if like winter comes early, but
Better to under promise of deliver.
we want to build it as quick. As
Yeah.
possible, so, you know, the longer your construction teams are out there, the more expensive it is.
And like I said, the annual rate broken down off 30 acres is that $60,000 a year, and you can see how as it kind of grows throughout the life of the lease. And that kind of completes our presentation. And at this point, I'd like to open up for any questions.
So your program would not be like an aggregate program, you would just, you said if we buy in, is there a certain, how does that work with the extra? Percentage of?
Do that, yeah, this is more.
You mean like buying in, so like actually subscribing to.
Right, well, you did something.
You have no obligation to subscribe to any of the energy we produce. We would be able to go out and get subscribers all across the state, or at least Ameren-based customers. But at the same time, we would love to have you guys as, you know, anchor, what we call like anchor subscriptions. So, you know, we would just work with, you know, whichever entity it might be, whether it's public buildings or private, and, you know, work out a rate for, that would be acceptable for both parties.
So you're gonna produce it and it's like a community solar.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then you just sell whatever, you sell it for a certain rate to recoup
Exactly.
the money, okay?
Mhm.
Do you, maybe you don't have any idea of what the going rate is that you're selling it for currently to people or?
So we typically will say that we'll guarantee like a 10 to 15% discount from Ameren's rate.
Okay.
I believe Ameren's rate has kind of fluctuated recently, like it was as high, it was really high a few months ago, it started to go down a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the typical rate, but it's around 8 cents per
Yeah.
kilowatt hour right now, so we would like to offer, and we do offer discounts to that rate. You know, to make sure that you're not paying more for the energy than you would if you were with Ameren.
Okay. So it's not like if Ameren rate goes down, so you just follow it, you just say, we're gonna knock off 10 or 15% off of what their current rate is. And if their rate goes up, then your rate goes up and follows, so.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and that would, again, that would, you know, just be at the end. We wouldn't be able to start signing people up until it was actually like operational, and so then the individual contracts would be negotiated with, you know, the city or the private landowners, but yes, we'd like to offer the discount.
And what we've done before, like when we did in Galva, when we did our like community event nights, we offer up a sign-up sheet so that the eventual end owner, which in that case is Madison, would reach out to anybody who's interested in doing that to keep them abreast of what was going on and you know, what that was gonna end up being at the end of the.
Are you only allowed to sell to Ameren customers or can you sell to anybody?
Only can sell to Ameren customers.
Okay.
Yep, so we can't sell to co-op customers, which are probably like just right down the street.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I gave a presentation to St. Francisville, and the land that they had fell into co-op, and the co-op didn't want to do it. So they got all excited and we weren't able to do it. So this one we verified the land is in Ameren territory. Would have been great if we could work with co-ops, but the co-op chose not to work with us.
Yeah, the co-op has a lot of hurdles because they typically purchase energy from like large wholesalers, and there's a lot of rules about how much they can buy from other people.
Do we still pay all those delivery charges that are on the Ameren bills?
Yes.
Yes, those was.
Yeah, those would still be there. Yeah, it would just be a
Yeah,
discount on the bank.
On the-
Right.
So it's kind of like switching our provider.
Yeah.
Like we do now.
It's that, that.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I know Joe was, we would have to follow up with the Oslop grant that was used to purchase the property originally.
Mhm.
I don't know that it would be the only difference would be is, you know, with farming, the ground is still open for development or whatever. So with the flexibility with the lease, that's always been my biggest concern with some of these solar farms is, you know, tying up the ground for 40 years. So
Right.
for like municipalities, that's my biggest thing is against, because I've been fighting them outside of the community within the 1.5 miles of our growth zone.
Yeah,
Because, you know, you get something that's on a piece of open farm ground currently, and then you have a lease for a solar farm that ties up the ground for 40 years, that prevents the village from growing for 40 years. You know, unless you're able to go around, which doing utilities and things, just within a short period or short distance is hard enough.
yeah,
That going around the solar farm would be harder. So with this, it's a little bit different because it's, you know, our ground, and it is an area that the only growth that we would anticipate there would be our park development. So with the flexibility of this lease, you know, currently we don't have any set plans on growth for that portion of the park. You know, we don't know when that, you know, that might happen. So say if 5 years down the road, you know, we have someone who comes and wants to donate to develop, say 5 acres of it for a community building or whatever it might be.
yeah.
So you're saying with this
So we're
flexibility.
flexible, like, once it's already built, it's kind of tricky, but we can carve out beforehand, if you didn't want to lease the entire property. You
Okay,
carve out a section that maybe near the existing fields or something, that you leave open, and we do a fence around that.
but
That
once
would be
once
okay.
it was developed,
Yeah,
then
that
then
would,
it's not like you can say, oh, you know, we
yeah,
want to cut the lease short on that 5 acres
that,
to take out this many pieces. Okay, so that's what I want to
Yeah.
clarify on the flexibility of that. So basically, we would have to think ahead about
Right.
what portion that might be that we want to set aside that was not solar.
like I said, it's strategic, so if you guys wanted to plan it, let us know, like during the option period before, because the option, we're just signing, it's basically signing a lease before the lease. You would still have to sign the lease, and if at that point something came up, we worked with you throughout the entire time. So it would be, once we know all the studies, permits and everything, we have to send a surveyor out, and that's when we get the final footprint of what we would build. So through the years, we would work with you, let's say.
We would build what, you know, on the land that you want us to.
Yeah.
use. So, if you
So
want to
we
keep
have,
that,
we have a couple of years, you would say, before anything happens. Would that be your death?
It's moving pretty fast, I'd say that.
Yeah, so we would probably go try to get into the program in June.
Yes.
Over the summer. We wouldn't be able to do anything until we know if we got an award to the program, so that would be till next fall. And then we'd have to do some
Is that-
studies and those kinds of
If we
things.
started doing these,
About 2 years
said,
away.
okay, we want to carve out 5 acres at
Mhm.
this point, you're cool with that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and as we go through the, like, if you guys want to move forward, we start looking at the lease, we can build that into the lease agreement too.
And then my question is also on the cleaning up. So is there a bond in place? Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping that one bond is all part
that
of
was
it.
coming up next. That question always comes up.
Yeah,
too.
the state of Illinois they just did like solar, basically like a solar ordinance for the entire state.
Yeah,
and
we
that's-
love that.
yeah.
We love them for that.
Yes, because not everybody had one before, so if you don't want to adopt one, you can just use those standards, and the decommissioning bond is all part of that,
Okay.
so.
And how is that, I mean, at what percentage or how do you go about figuring out that figure? The ones that I've heard in the past seemed unreasonably low.
So that, I'd have to get back to you, on that, to be honest,
Okay.
I don't know off the top.
Because that would be, you know, my concern also would be the decommissioning, because of course none of us will know what 40 years will bring.
Yeah.
As far as. But, you know, trying to not leave a mess for whoever the trustees are 40 years from now, we want them to still speak our names kindly, but anyway, no, I just, you know, that's always when I, you know, heard these presentations, you know, with some of our community farms outside of the village. And I know it's, you know, definitely a concern for a lot of family farmers and things too. In 40 years, you know, what do they leave their families with? And of course, you know, I know that they, oh, well, they'll be recycled. Well, we don't know because, you know, what's recycled today or, you know, 20 years ago was not necessarily.
I know even panels come greatly. I think the last report I read, they're about 75% recyclable, 75 to 80. Exactly.
I don't know, there's
Yeah,
a lot of stuff, we're really hard to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So a few years ago.
It's really bad.
When, probably in 2017 or so, when some of the solar farms were first being, you talked about outside of the village, there was someone who had actually done research on it. And at that point, the only place that was taking them to be recycled was some organization or some business out of Ohio. And basically you had to put a BIM to take them off your hands. So they, you
It's
know,
funny you mentioned, I'm from Ohio. I know it's in Toledo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I said that was back in probably 2017,
They
2018.
were the first one, I think, last check, it's been a while, probably about a year. I think we're up to 7 certified solar panel recycling facilities. I know Florida's got one, California, the first two, always grab stuff. Ohio. And I can find out the rest, but I don't know if Illinois has one off the top of my head. But Toledo, it's funny, Toledo, I the first one.
Yeah, and as far as the bonding, it's that, I mean, Mark, you can probably answer the lead. I mean, how does that bonding work? I mean, I said, none of us are gonna be here in 40 years when it's being decommissioned. I mean, is the bond only as good as the paper that is written on, or is there?
No,
guarantees
there's
in that?
it's controlled by the statute. And bottom line is the bonding is guaranteed through either an insurance product or a banking product.
So even if this
So
company.
these guys go
goes
bankrupt, the
away-
bond is still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they had insurance when the bond was.
Do you know how it works?
And I think they have to pay it unless the insurance company goes out of business. That would be what they actually think of.
I don't know how the county here works. We prefer to put it in the village of St. Joseph. But sometimes counties step in and they are required to hold the bond. Do you know how that works? I've run into that in Ohio.
On a project like this, I would think it's gonna be with the village. I don't
Okay, yeah.
think the county wants anything to do with this.
Yeah, the bond would be through whoever our parent or whoever our partner company would be basically the running the project after we do construction. So in this case, maybe Navison, who we worked on other projects with, they're a huge company. They do these bonds all the time, so they would be the ones that would have money to fund that one. Then they go through and they do title insurance and all that stuff on the site.
And Navison is owned by O'Mears, which is a Canadian company. They do basically the hedge funds for a lot of different firefighters and police officers.
Yeah,
One of the big contracts that
Yeah.
there's, basically, they believe in us to fund us to do this.
but if,
Not with 150.
if the decommissioning is a main concern and big sticking point, I mean, you know, we have standard language in our contracts, but. You know, we need the community's full investment and coordination on this project, so we would work with you guys to get to a point that you guys are comfortable with.
But we can provide you with the lease flow, just to look through it and get some ideas of what's in there. Happy to do so.
Yeah, we could put the whole list together if you wanted to see it. We'd be happy to come out, probably want, the owners to come answer some more questions too. Hopefully, we could provide as much as possible. I think they provide a little more.
Will it just be grass under the panels, or do you guys put like?
We usually
like, is there, like, you're gonna have like mow around it?
So we-
In between the rows of panels?
We're responsible, so basically, we plant a low growth grass, something that doesn't need to be maintained every like 2 weeks like your house does. But we usually hire local landscapers that come in and they'll maintain the outside of the fence. And the inside, we also hire landscaping companies too to come out maybe 2-3 times a year. After a heavy snowfall, we have to send them out to with the industrial snow blowers. They just basically go down in between the panels with the trucks and just blow the snow off. But that is very rare because the panels, the way they tilt in the sun, they usually rarely require that. It would have to be a very heavy significant snowfall.
There's
But
different
yes.
seed mixes and stuff we can use,
Yeah.
like pollinator friendly ones that we've done on other projects, that you can plant underneath. I think Justin mentioned doing, the agrivoltaics, which you could use, you know, if you want to do sheep or.
Yeah, she can graze.
I saw a picture, that's why.
The only requirement for the sheep that I know is you have to have a water source inside there, so.
You could also do like, I forget what are we doing?
We're doing hay.
Okay, so
We're
you
growing
do hay in
hay.
between and you know,
That mixed with the pollinator friendly, so just, you know, works with the ecosystem as much as possible. We want that land.
But you're responsible.
Yeah.
Responsible for all the elements.
Cut off.
It is, we'd be responsible for that and 15 feet outside of the fence. We maintain, and the fencing we use would be up to your choice. We converted to an agriculture fence instead of the old chain link fence, because everybody said it looked like a prison. Which I can confirm, I worked as case manager for the prison for 15 years before this. So yeah, we switched to those, that's a lot nicer too, but like I said, we maintain the outside and we also screen it too. So we would plant whatever local vegetation that you guys prefer, something that grew up basically after 5 to 10 years, maybe a little less than 5 years, you barely notice it. It would be hidden behind whatever's maintained outside the fence. It's a great neighbor, it's quiet, doesn't cause any problems.
And you haven't checked into Oslo thing yet, as far as,
My understanding based on the conversation with them previously is that we're okay, but I'm confirming with this specific use, just to make sure that I'll give every variable possible, but.
I mean, I would think, just like, you know, with the farm income, you know, dedicating it back to parks. You know, this revenue that would come in off of this would be a nice addition to go towards parks. And since it is on parks ground, you know, that would definitely be very specific for that use. I think, you know, our job would have to be to think long and hard on what we might think for the very near future on what may or may not be developed there. And of course, you know, the story goes always, if you don't have the money, nothing's gonna go there forever. And unless you're lucky enough to get a grant and, you know, as we know, sometimes those are hard to come by, but, you know, if we plan ahead and just like Joe has mentioned with a lot of the grants, you know, you kind of have to be pretty much shovel ready to go and show that to work your way at the top of the list on some of those grants too. But that would be something you guys would most definitely need to think long and hard about before you would tie up the ground for 40 years. But yes, this revenue would be more than what our farm income currently is on the property. I think some of the concerns, I think you guys have answered, some of those concerns, I think, that's probably about as good as it's gonna get as far as those reassurances. Just because is what it is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
We had, trust with what's going on, and of course, we know solar has been kind of a fluid thing here for the last few years, and, there's been some changes, some things have been.
Yeah,
They're
always kind of at the forefront of it. They're
Yeah.
way ahead of Pennsylvania, Ohio, a lot of places I've worked in.
What do you need from us? Anything? We just.
I want you just to think about it, and then we'll come back after you had a chance to review things. If you have any questions for
Just
these.
be thinking, if you had questions for them more tonight.
And I put my card in each one of those folders, so email me at any time and text me, that's my cell phone number.
So it didn't, and if you have more questions and concerns, then we'll be, ready to present those to them to get those answers. And then, like I said, then we'll have the discussion, what your thoughts are, but yeah, we're not making a decision on it tonight at all, so.
We're just here for that.
Yeah.
Is 40 years the only term limit that you offer?
It's pretty difficult on what we've done. I'm sure we could probably maybe work with that a little bit, but it kind of depends on.
I think 30 is feasible.
And what was the smallest acreage? Did you say you can do 20?
We can, 20 is,
Yeah, I think 20 is about as low as we'd want to go. If for whatever reason you had a hard line at a number lower than that, we would certainly take it into consideration, work with you all.
and the more acres you guys put in, the more money.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, we're not, we would love the whole 35, but we're open to whatever you guys would.
How do you feel about fireworks being shot above the?
I think they look great reflecting on.
Better than table.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Could you send me a sample, please?
definitely. Now you mentioned the water treatment plant, maybe putting something there too.
Yeah, we're waiting for a quote from a company to give us another.
So on that one, my preference would be we own it. But what
Right.
I was going to ask you, but you guys said it'd be 2 years, if it would be.
Well, no, that's
something-
behind the meter.
Right,
So we
right, but I didn't know if it would be something in conjunction with this, that if we bought the material, if you would install it as part of
Good faith.
there you go.
Yeah,
But we would like to own that one and get all the incentives and everything to help pay for it, that's the only bad
Yeah, that's
thing about
great.
that part of
put
it.
that
but-
in an email, because my cousin's actually one of the owners of the company. and I didn't bring it up to him, he lost it.
Yeah.
For the community.
We thought if we bought all the material and just had you guys install it,
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm an electrician, I'm willing
Yeah.
to do even the electrical work on it if
Yeah.
that makes it something more feasible, but if that could bring our cost down from what we were looking at before.
that is definitely something my cousin would say, let me know, and I will do
Yeah.
my best.
After you said that it might be 2 years, I don't think we want to wait that long on it, and I didn't want you guys to then do a good faith move for us and then be like, we're not gonna take this, and then it's kind of bad feelings or whatever, but.
I'm sure if you signed the lease, he would be like, well. I've been around my cousin.
Yeah, that's 2 years going through the programs, that's behind the meter, it's a.
Working with Ameren, so Ameren study takes about a year.
But definitely shoot that question.
Okay.
Just so I can present it to them.
No,
Like I said, a lot of times I work with local landowners and stuff, but one of the questions was. Their swimming pool in their town was, they were getting rid, they could only afford it for one more year, and it was just, we're getting rid of it. And the landowner asked, would Bo be interested in sponsoring it? So we gave them construction bonus of about 25,000-30,000 and put a whole brand new pool in for them and everything. And it benefited the whole town, and we named it after that landowner.
Well, you can
That was
name
what they had.
ball for it after color.
Pickleball's huge now.
Thank you for going to board that.
My wife's aunt in Maryland, she's like the pickleball commissioner in her retirement complex. I was like, what is that? Good. Well, thank you for your time. Yep. And like I said, any other questions, feel free to call me, cell phone on there. I'm all of those.
Can I ask you a quick question about the scholarship, which is just
Yes.
minor in the grand scheme of things, but this $10,000 a year in scholarships. So is that like?
You can
one-
break it out.
And who manages that or distributes it, who or oversees that? Us, the village? Somehow it's-
Yeah,
I
whoever.
mean, does it come like to the village? or
It'll come to the
direct-
village, and you disperse it, like I said, you can break that out, it could be one scholarship, or you can make break out to multiple, and that is compounded, so that's 10,000 a person, it's gonna increase every year by 2%. So you'll have that as well.
I believe in Gil, but I think that the council is gonna disperse those, but that's up to you.
And it doesn't have to be based, it's up to our discretion on it's based.
Yeah, we don't-
Doesn't it, right, so it's your just handing us. the
Yeah,
money, right?
it's your money.
We trust that you would get.
We trust that you're gonna do it. Trust that you're gonna give it to you.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, old business, you have your appropriation ordinance amendment, I know it was not to a couple of you, on that. Is there any other questions or follow-up? Basically, if you have no other further questions on that, then we'll just instruct, Mark and Joe to get that finalized so that we can put together an ordinance and then we could pass that. So if there is no concerns or other questions for that. And if you do, and you don't have them tonight, then you must definitely can follow up with Joe. You know, too, but basically, we just need to move forward with that so that we can get it finalized for approval. Is there any questions on that? No? Okay, that's all I need on that.
That's good.
Right, Exhibit 7, we have our staff report. Joe, do you wanna point out any highlights on that or,
Nope, if you have any questions about it, just please let me know.
right? Mark,
I have much to report. I probably should mention that you approved purchasing some land and we will eventually buy it. There's a fly in the ointment on the seller side in terms of just getting a T-cross so we can close. That won't be coming back to you. You've already authorized everything, so we'll get it done. I just can't tell you when. Other than that, I've been working with Joe on a slew of other things. But I don't think we need to talk about them tonight, but I'm happy to answer questions for you.
we got several irons in the fire kind of a thing. It's just until they
We
get
do.
wrapped up and then they'll probably hit us all at one time and be like, oh, everything's ready to look at. So anyway, so that's all good. Tiffany, do you have anything?
I sent to Joe today, the link from the Attorney General's office for our Open Meetings Act training and our FOIA training. He'll send it out. I just wanted you to send it out to everybody coming from you. It's got a place, everybody has to register. Unless you've registered very, very recently, it says you need to register again. If we need to, we can do it together. You know, we can have sessions where we work on it together. I haven't done it. I can do it and we can talk about it at the next meeting, or we can have a time where we do it together. Last time, have you done this training?
Mhm.
Is it like it was before where it gives it, where it gives you,
I haven't done it in the past couple years.
right, I haven't either.
I just do it
Before,
every
you
once
used to
in a while.
read it and then it asked you a question about it. It used to give you like a page you read and then it asked you a question and then.
Well, and then you could answer it incorrectly,
And then.
and then it would tell you why that was incorrect and then re-ask you the same question. So you can't screw it up.
You're not gonna fail.
Well, you can for a while, but eventually you give in and just want to get it done.
And that tells you why it's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like to see what, I kind of like the wrong answer, because then you knew what was wrong.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the time is, but I'm remembering about half an hour or so,
Yeah, it's not a great time.
but you have to do it.
And then it'll print out a certificate, so then if you can bring the certificate and Joe can keep it in a file in his office, then we'll all be nice and tight and right.
You want us to email us?
Yes, please. Or you can even print them and bring them in either way, but yeah, email either way.
Yeah, state of Illinois always asking some kind of, have a mandate for, because there's like a sexual harassment one that you have to do and. Or they, was the information I sent you for the economic statement helpful? Okay,
I filed mine online,
okay, good,
gave an option on there to do that, and you could email them to get your login, and
okay.
they actually. Surprisingly, emailed me right back with my login information.
That is amazing,
I was-
actually, to have it clear, because it's like a 50-50 chance that it will work that way for you.
I
So,
I was,
You think it's that high?
well, now, I'm not even say 50-50 on that, I would think that might be a little high,
that
but.
felt like it comes a lot, I was very surprised, very close to my surprise, but yeah. And I had an email saying it went through, so I assumed it's on there.
That's great.
So if there is anything, Joe, that you do not have for me, I think I have checked all boxes. But if there's something, some box I have left unchecked.
Oh,
you tell me.
So, okay, very good, so is that all, Tiffany?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Public Works reports is in your packet, also, review that, if you have any questions for Joe, I know Joe, do you want to update them about the little, vendor we had today, just to give them an update?
it's still all fluid, but the back truck, point of reference, that's the really expensive one.
Of course,
Was rear-ended today, everybody's okay,
yeah, that's the priority.
and,
Everybody's-
but it's been towed, we're budgeting, and we're gonna find a location to have it towed to get it repaired. And then we'll file a claim with everything once we get the extra report, but everybody's okay, stuff happens. The other driver is getting checked out and they'll be okay, so, but yeah, that, it's a pretty major piece of equipment, so if you see some, it will be an insurance claim.
For us.
For them,
Okay,
for them.
Sure.
Yeah, yes, and so we'll get all that taken care of, but, anyway, it's a pretty big deal, so.
Yeah.
But
But yes, it's thankful that everybody was fine. That's the most important thing. So, a couple updates. It seems like I've been like super busy here the last couple of weeks. Just meetings and things. I actually had a Kickapoo Rail Trail meeting last Tuesday evening at the Wheelhouse. They kind of give us some updates on. It was all the local where the trail's going through. Mayors and various people that are involved with the trail and have interest there. So it was interesting. It always gets kind of exciting when you get to some of those meetings and you get updates. And so I believe that they will have a fairly significant announcement in November, December, coming up in regards to the trail. I was told I can't see anything about it yet, so I just have to be patient until they get ready to do their press release. Apparently their press release has been written kind of for a while, just waiting for the time to be able to be doing the press release. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit and be quiet, I won't say anything. So, but it is, exciting. News with the trail, so that was good. I also attended every year, the Champaign County Realtors invite some of the local mayors to come and for their big meeting. They have a year meeting where they give out awards and different things. And so anyway, I went and of course bragged about our community. So I always feel like it's a good opportunity to come in and just brag on, even if I have to make up a couple cute little things that we're doing out here just to get them excited about coming and selling houses out here or whatever. But no, it's always a good opportunity to go out and, give them an update on where we're at with some of our projects and things. We did that. And then another couple of things that I've done, and I think it's super important. Joe and I have gone to the high school a couple times and spoke to a class about zoning. They were doing a session on zoning and they were interested on how our local zoning is done and everything. So anyway, Mr. Beckett at the school had contacted me a while back to come to his civic class. He had 2 separate classes. So I attended the high school Friday and then also did Monday. And got to speak with his class and I feel like I did better on the Monday one just because I was kind of got a feel for how I was going to go with the kids and stuff. But so Monday I kind of did introductions and stuff and then give them more opportunities to ask me questions. And it's interesting now, of all the years that I've been there and spoke with, because I've gone to my niece's 7th and 8th grade class before and spoke with their class when they're doing their local government, studies. And I can count on every group, at least one person asking, can we have a skateboard park? And so there's always one in that. And matter of fact, I spoke with a young man not too long ago that was years ago in one of her classes. And he's now an adult now, he's out of high school now. And he's like, yeah, I remember you come and talk to our class. And he says, I was the one who asked about the skateboard. I said, yeah, I think I remember you. But anyway, so it's always fun to do that. That's one of my favorite parts is being mayor is going and talking to the kids and going places and advocating for the village. But I also think it's a good thing. It gives us an opportunity, because the kids pay attention to Facebook and different things too. And Mr. Beckett also had explained that while they're doing their studies, they do kind of they talk about our meetings and they talk about what Nora reports and then also they get a chance to talk about the Facebook remarks and different things. So to me, it's a good opportunity to give them a time to ask specifically on either things that they've heard or things that maybe they've heard their folks talk about or different things. And it's always just very interesting. And I think it's just a good opportunity to have a good relationship with our resident young people. And I'm actually going to be working with, I've spoke with Mr. Beckett introduced me to their journalism teacher, and they have a young lady who does the News Gazette Confidential, what is that called? Yeah, where the young people, and I think they're putting together like a newsletter there at the high school. And so I think she's interested, or we've made the connection. So I think I might be working with her so that maybe to get her to attend some of the meetings and work with her on writing some articles about village related things. And I think that's important to get them involved. So those are a couple of things that I've just been doing. Of course, I want to remind everybody, Saturday is the big fall costume parade that I do. Me and my puppy lead them through. We've got several businesses in town that are a part of that. They bring out their goodies and the kids we have a route that we take. And all businesses that are involved. Some of them are dressed up and greet us, but and then we'll have treats for them back here. And there are several other things going on in town that day. The IGA, I think, is having a big pickleball.
It's gonna get changed, but
Okay, and then there's a trunk or treat there. So Saturday will be a busy day. Plus, there's a big football game.
Right. You said the pickleball tournament?
which might get changed indoor at the middle school, just because it looks like rain.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the rain doesn't rain on our parade. We have done it before in the rain. And I had like 5 kids show up that year. I've got one of the little treats I've got for them is the little mini pumpkins, and I got 60 of them. So if I don't have a lot of kids showing up, we're gonna have a lot of pumpkins to disperse one way or the other. But anyway, and then also my committee has been working on the Christmas tree lighting stuff. So we've got some fun ideas that we're putting together, and that will be December 2nd, the first Saturday in December, that we will have the Christmas tree lighting. It'll be at the parking lot at the elevator. So it'll be in the center of downtown this year.
Oh, it's not gonna be over by the fire truck?
No, it's gonna be in the center of downtown, so it'll be easier to see and everything. And the committee, we've got some things planned for that evening. I'm gonna be in touch with the high school and see if they have, I'm gonna talk to their choir person to see if they can have some carolers come like they did last year. If not, I'll reach out to the grade school or something, but you know, we'll have some caroling going on. And we're also planning, and they're working on it. It'll be like a fun little scavenger hunt too, to include the businesses that they can come earlier in the day to, that will kind of tie into the Christmas tree lighting. So there'll be some fun things going on there. So we've been working on that also. But other than that, I think I've heard just about everything that I've got going on for mayor's end of it anyway. So do you guys have anything to report?
I have one thing to ask, so we've moved to, the pickleballers have moved to Cole Park and it's quite fantastic compared to where we came from, we appreciate that. But we bought some wind screen to go around, I actually purchased it. And what we thought was we would ask for donations and we would put up like a little advertisement, but I wasn't for sure if it was, if we can do that since it's city property, but Joe had pointed out that the ball fields have advertisements all around it, but wanted me to ask your guys' thoughts. I'm not even for sure how we do it. I think I was kind of under the understanding we thought we could screen print onto that and we cannot. So it's I think that we might just end up doing like a placard next to it. And I'm only gonna ask for like $100, but I thought I'd hit up some of the local businesses. The screening was about $900. So, and I know us in the Santa run will do 2 of those. And I think I can get 7 other businesses and then we'll just have that printed up and put next to like the gate when you walk in and just say windscreen sponsored by, and then have the businesses on there.
So is it on the tennis court or is it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be on the tennis court, yes. Yeah.
And so I've seen, it's usually on my walks and stuff, I kind of look that way and it's been a lot of activity.
Yeah.
I've seen tennis players and pickleball players and.
You know, and I will say last night we were playing pickleball and a little boy and his dad showed up to play tennis and it was late. We were gonna play one more game and we just handed it over, and I'm not saying we're saints, I'm just saying we're trying to all play nicely in the sandbox here.
It was nice.
But,
I've even seen some people out there earlier in the morning.
On Monday mornings, they
Yeah.
play, it's a lot going on. I haven't seen a whole lot that was the first tennis people I've seen out there, but
So,
we're loving it, yeah.
all right, very good, thank you. Appreciate you working on that.
Yeah.
For them, so, anyway, if nobody else has anything, we don't need to go into executive session, so, unless Joe has anything else to add, I guess we can entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.